Hey all, and welcome back to my channel. I've been debating on whether if I should film a video for the channel or not. I'm not sure if... I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now, but there's something funky going on with it. I have definitely seen through the intel portals Russian interference. I have seen monetization crimes, okay, where they are literally taking the monies from somebody's channel and it's directly going into their bank account, their pocket. I have directly seen Elon Musk infiltrating and blocking content creators from views, shadow banning their channels. I've also seen channels going into false realities, like where they're not even connected to real audiences, where the audiences are not the audience of that actual content creators. For example, I've seen my actual YouTube channel connected to an audience of 6,000 subscribers that are not my subscribers, okay? That it's like a subscriber base that could be almost weaponizing my content against me, could be using it for an enemy. So there's huge crimes going on within YouTube right now, okay? And I know that my channel has gone through these periods for long lengths of time, but it's in that chapter right now for a reason. I mean, the last person I saw go in and mess with my channel was Elon Musk. Because of everything they are doing technology-wise, space-wise, they really are just, I'm hearing, like, testing boundaries to a degree that is violating human rights, civil freedoms. They have done things to me energetically, biologically, that are all criminal operations. They've carried out military-grade operations against me, an unarmed civilian. And they are doing it at warp speed while we're sleeping at night. Okay, so these are full-blown sleep operations. Last night I was woken up being dissected on my brain while I was sleeping. When I say dissected, it actually feels like a scientist is in my brain, moving around different instruments in my brain to hurt me, to weaponize against me, to hook me up to neurosystems, weapon systems, to carry out operations against me, which are falling under, I guess a form of kill contracts. And when I am awoken, okay, from these attacks, I have to clear the energies. I have to send love and light to whatever's happening to me biologically. And then I'll see some freaking firm. I'll see some firm connected to Wall Street who is carrying out a hedge fund contract, okay? Hedge funds are kill contracts. And it is not necessarily being done through that bank right now. They will utilize another company to carry out the contracts through certain systems that they are selling technology to. I have gotten messages today that Donald Trump sold another U.S. secret connected to manipulating and creating timelines for people he deems as threats. So they have essentially created a timeline for me to honor a kill contract that essentially just crashes my life and is attached to me through their neuroweapon system. And I found the contract today. I'm wondering how he's doing this. He stole the information from the CIA. He has gotten into the CIA. When he made the announcement about releasing and declassifying the CIA docs connected to certain events, for example, John F. Kennedy, okay, and his assassination, he's saying this to seem like he is this guy that's trying to get to the bottom of the truth. But then on the back end, they have an entire other operation to get into the classified docs, okay? The same thing happened with USAID. Everyone's like, why aren't you reading on USAID? What's going on with Elon Musk and USAID? When I'm reading on USAID, I was getting that they were trying to hack into American Social Security numbers, okay, to sell those numbers and sell us off like hotcakes, like they did the first, second, and third groups of Havana syndrome, okay? That's what came up when I'm reading on USAID, because it is part of the Treasury Department. So everyone's like, you're not talking about USAID, but I'm seeing Social Security numbers. Now, that doesn't even hit the papers until a week later or 2 weeks later, where a judge overruled and said that Elon could not go near our Social Security numbers. But that's what I'm getting when I'm reading on what's going on with USAID and the emails going out to USAID, okay? And you have to understand, I am under a form of warfare that is cutting edge, okay? I am under a form of warfare that is biologically and genetically modifying my DNA. It is painful. It is torturous. And I am always on the front lines. I have over 92 systems on my head, okay? And I'm telling people possibly on the channel or an audience that is not even for me, that is possibly connected to Donald Trump or Russian intelligence. I'm getting Russian intelligence, so I'm not even getting the messages out to the correct audiences, which is a violation of the First Amendment, okay? And I'm being told I have to go an hour out to get to a police department that actually can protect me. I mean, I went to the police department the other day to talk about the radiation weapons, and the way they treated me was not acceptable. Okay? It's not acceptable to be treated the way I'm being treated by police stations that I'm going to. But I believe that my name is on a blacklist, and I believe the minute they get my name, something comes up in their system, and I am red flagged. And that is part of Donald Trump's blacklist, as part of Project 2025. That's part of his execution lists. And it is part of Havana syndrome and the cover-ups connected to the Pentagon. So messages that I feel like have to get out today are messages about the megas. So these are things that the megas don't know, okay? This is information that the megas don't know. And I know I'm 7 minutes into the video right now. What the megas don't know is that acting President Joe Biden declared war on Vladimir Putin in 2024. And it was at the time that Vladimir Putin brought in Russian warships into Cuba. And that is directly tied to Havana syndrome. Now, when I tried to get that information out, I was homeless in a car somewhere in the Silicon Valley, which was all by design because they were trying to kill me with weapons there. While I was sleeping, I was leaving my body at night. I was completely detached from my children. I was in one of the scariest places of my life. I was battling a lot of situations. I was uncovering one of the deadliest military maps of all times against the world. I literally found the World War III military map through the intel portals, through the military portals. Why would I be the one uncovering this? Okay, why? One, I earned a military rank. Okay, I was continuing to earn military ranks. Why? I was put into, I believe, the Delta Force program through MK Ultra programs, which is through Colorado. Okay, and I believe that to some degree, you are put into some form of military programs once you enter into the MK Ultra targeted individual program. And as part of entering into those programs, I believe you are then turned into, my stomach is like growling right now. You are turned into what I believe is, I guess, according to what @Black Sunrise spoke about on her channel, and she did really an amazing job presenting about it, a super soldier, so to speak. And they will use you to carry out their operations and agendas, but you are still earning ranks because you were entered into a military program. So I was entered into a secret space program. So I was privy to intel or operations going on connected to Russia, to Russians, and U.S. space programs. And that was the program I was put into. Now, I was also simultaneously being put through deep state experimentations through these programs that were trafficking operations. And I was put under the generals at that time who were appointed by Donald Trump. Even though Joe Biden was acting as president, I was under the rank. I was under the generals appointed by Donald Trump still. So my commanding officers or commanding generals were all appointed by Donald Trump. So as I'm climbing the military ranks through these programs and somehow surviving these horrendous events and just literally beating to my own drum and not listening to anything they tell me to do ever. I literally rewrote the way we fight in wars. I was pioneering warfare that they couldn't control because I was so different than them. I don't think the way they do. I was an enlightened being. I had been through insane amounts of, yoga trainings and teachings from India. You put me next to US military, they're dinosaurs, honestly. I'm like, this is how I climbed the ranks, and I'm not even kidding. And they could not believe what I was doing. And I was having conversations with foreign dignitaries. I was screaming at them. I was on the front lines, okay? And what happens is that I was getting closer and closer to the higher ranking military intelligence. And at that time, that was General Mike Flynn. And I was also getting closer to command, which was Lieutenant General Thomas Bergeson. And so I was climbing up the ranks because of how I was essentially surviving, okay? And performing, at whatever level I was. And I was always performing for my country and not working in coordination with those generals. I was working in opposition to these generals. And that's how I found out who they were. Because I was fighting for Team USA and they weren't. And then as I continued to climb the ranks, I become privy to intel that they as well are privy to. Now I'm hearing no. Because I was climbing above their ranks, okay? I was going into 7-star general in 2024. I'm literally battling against Trump's appointed generals now in 2024 in the military portals and every other freaking crime group that he is in coordination with. I'm literally on the front lines in every regard. I can tell you who runs the world. I can tell you who the players are because I'm around them. I've been around them. You have to be around them if you are operating at this rank. So I essentially was unveiling one of the deadliest military maps. And at this point in time in 2024, I had the awareness of who our top ranking generals were and what their operations were. And that they were not for the United States of America. They were for Russia and North Korea. So I had that intel. So I am now getting this military map out to not our country. When I'm finding this information, I am under full-blown attack. I am under a military operation. I have a freaking marksman on me who is interdimensional. So he's in another dimension, but he feels like he is in my energy field. He feels like he has a gun to my head because of Neuralink and because of the chipping systems that I am, a victim of, so to speak. And I lost all of my other protections because the people that came in acted like they were rescuing me. And I was in the middle of nowhere. I was in a dead zone. So I was in an Air Force dead zone, which is what they kept putting me into when I was on the road. I was literally in a town in the middle of nowhere. There was no signals. I had no Wi-Fi. I had no money. I was stranded. I didn't even have money to get gas. I was behind on my car payments. I literally had one friend left, okay, Polly. I literally did not want to communicate to family or friends anymore because I felt like I would endanger them, that it was not safe for me to communicate with them. And I found myself in the middle of marshlands, in the middle of nowhere, and it felt like a rescue team was coming in and trying to get all this shit off of me. I found out they were not a rescue team and that I actually had something protecting me. I don't know what was protecting me, but once all of the military systems came off, I had a marksman on me. I had a marksman, a very dark marksman who was trying to attack me. These attacks feel very real. They're interdimensional. So if they come into your energy field with a gun and they hit you, it will feel like you are injured in real time, okay? And that is the technology they are working on warp speed to advance so that we are completely stripped of our rights energetically and can be killed off instantaneously. These are agendas that they are actively working on every single day by the hour as they are infiltrating the United States and the world, okay? And I then I'm running energetically away from this marksman. I'm trying to pull his energy off of me. I'm trying to send any kind of light energies towards them. I'm sending light energies, love energies to clear the weapon, because I understand how weapons are made. I have been in the heart of Lockheed Martin. I have been in the heart of weapons contracts. I've been in the heart of manufacturers. I have been in the heart of how they do things because that's how I have survived. That is how I have survived this far. Learning how they make their weapons is how I've survived, and it's also how I die. Okay, it's the same crux energy, life or death energies I am faced with every single day, and I'm sending and flooding this marksman light and love energies, who I believe is directly connected to Eric Prince. I am sending and flooding the energy, and as I am doing that, I unveil a military map that he is directly tied to and carrying out as part of whatever his operation is. And that is how I find the map and see it. And it clears out because of the energies I'm throwing at this person and what he's connected to. And I'm sending it up literally like Elsa out to our allies, our real allies. I'm trying to send the energies out globally to anyone who could freaking find this freaking map other than my own goddamn country. Because that is the level of attack we are under at this time. And I believe we still are, to some degree, under this attack, because I still have not been honored for my rank. I went under direct attack by General Milley, and that was them doing a bot. That's them calling in tanks right now. There was a lot of Army tanks that were moving through Texas that were seen on social media. Texas is a hotbed for this type of warfare. Fort Hood has been infiltrated. Okay, there was a lot of deaths. I had people come in from Fort Hood who were in danger, who were trying to get me information. I have had experiences that are freaking so insane. And you don't have to believe me, and I don't care. I'm not trying to be here to like preach to the choir. You either believe me or you don't believe me. But I know the bases that are infiltrated because I believe I was in communication with them. Okay? And what people don't know as well about Mega is that it's a military operation. They could end Mega in 2 seconds. Okay, Mega is being run by by Mike Flynn. He is no longer recognized by the United States of America. He has been stripped of his rank. He has been still carrying out operations and has units or access to systems. But today, it was supposed to be stripped from him. Those operations were supposed to be nullified. Any operations carried out by him and his brother should have been nullified within the last hour or so. I don't know, or I don't have communication in where I can check up on commands and orders and find out if they're being honored. I don't have that. I have been stripped from that access, which is not legal. It's not okay. Not in a time of war. They're not allowed to keep me from that information. I have to know if commands and orders are being carried out, if they are being sent out. I have to know, I have to have those status updates. I don't have a point person right now that I can rely on or trust in any way. If a command comes in, it comes in and goes out. I don't know, like, it's kind of like a gray area right now in terms of like how we're even operating on a military level. I'm getting the card strength coming through. I know that when I send out commands, okay, shut down Texas communications. I know that Texas gets pulled out. I know they're getting shut down. I don't know what else is going on in Texas, though. I have moved. I was told I was supposed to get the property of George W. and take over his ranch in freaking Texas. I have been told that, but he is fighting to the death that does not happen. And I'm not sure if I would want to be in Texas right now. I have dream coming in around that. But in other news, the mega operation should be shut down by now because it is all a military grade operation. The disinformation, the speaking points going out to Fox News, the speaking points on right-wing media, it's all a military grade operation. It is completely funded by foreign monies. It is completely meant to gaslight and disinform people. It is a form of psychological warfare. It is war crimes. And they have been charged with war crimes. Fox News has been charged with war crimes. Rupert Murdoch has been charged. Have the charges gone through? It doesn't look like it, but that they have been charged. Fox News was supposed to shut down their studios over 2 weeks ago. I believe it's 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. All of the hosts were supposed to be charged with disinformation, which means they had the knowing that they were pushing out lies. That means they had an awareness. If they're getting charged, if the hosts of Fox News are charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States of America and treason, then they must have the information or the know-how, the knowing that they are spreading lies. Okay? So they would not be charged otherwise. They have been charged. I can tell you major corporations have been charged with these crimes. CEOs have been charged. Have they been carried out? From what I see, no. But there's also been a break in the chain in command from what I gather that is major through Bill Barr and his operations, through their science. There's also a NASA operation that was just carried out within the last 24 hours. That is a criminal operation. It's a Russian operation. Russian intel also has access to me, which is a violation. It's a war crime, which they were charged with today. As far as the commands and what's been called in, the United States of America has declared war on Donald Trump. Those commands went out 2 weeks ago, maybe. Has that been carried out? Well, it looks like we still have the same commanding officers. I saw General Mattis was blocking us from defeating North Korea 2 days ago. I saw him in the military portal, still acting on behalf of Donald Trump and their military operations, whatever their covert operations were, Havana syndrome. They're still working to cover those operations up. And General Milley is still working as well. I saw him today in the portals. He is still operating on behalf of Donald Trump and working against the United States. He was stripped. He was charged with treason and conspiracy to defraud the United States of America in connection to Havana syndrome, in coordination with Russian intelligence, Vladimir Putin, and General Mattis has also been charged with that, and General McMaster. They have all been charged with treason and conspiracy to defraud the United States of America because of Havana syndrome. Now, those are their crimes, Havana syndrome. Those are all war crimes against the United States of America that were done through military-grade operations, through U.S. military budgets and contracts, all illegal, nullified contracts carried out through Eric Prince and paramilitary operations, all criminal operations. And we're still unveiling all of the kill contracts in Florida connected to Matt Gaetz, greenlighting those contracts through the POW contracts. I think those are, I believe, might be Navy ships. If it's in his district, it's Pensacola. Or is it McDill? No, it's not. No, it's, see, they could be calling something in right now through McDill. If I'm not careful, I have to be careful of everything they're doing. Is it Max? Oh my God, it's Tyndall. Is it Tyndall? I feel like they're throwing me off intentionally. It would be the Air Force Base that is in his district, okay? Which I believe is Tyndall Air Force Base. So just now we got McDill came through and Maxwell. Okay, so those are the ones that are coming in. I believe that as of last night, the Huawei technologies connected to China that was placed strategically at our Air Force bases created some kind of a magnetic grid, okay, system that would carry out, I'm hearing, covert operations. That grid is deadly. And the way they created that grid was intentional, I believe. I'm not sure if the China balloon has something to do with the Huawei cell towers, but I know that those cell towers are a problem in terms of compromising Air Force military intel. So, I don't know what the status is of that, but it came up like last night at 3 a.m. when I'm being awoken by this deadly weapon on my head. So, I guess that's kind of where we're at right now. I will leave you guys there. Thanks again for your comments, feedback, sharing. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, all of that. I greatly appreciate all of you, and thank you to all of you who are continuing to rise and to, be activists and share the truth with everyone. I always leave the car seat because it is directly tied to trafficking and the White House. I have seen children in the Pentagon. I have seen babies in the Pentagon. It's really bad where it went. And all I can do right now is just keep shining a light on the truth and getting it to the right people. I'm sending you guys so much love and blessings, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.